So we all have rough days, and generally speaking, when I come across something in my life that I perhaps haven't been through before, or something that really is tasking me emotionally, I have to take a step back and think, what is it that I could have done better? My name's Turab. I make videos about emotional intelligence, leadership, and spirituality consistently to hopefully inspire viewers to live this life the way that you want to live it. You know, at the end of the day, if we don't have that luxury of actually enjoying our life, we're not going to want to convince anyone else to enjoy theirs. And my goal always is to have self-respect and to make sure that I am actually growing as a person. At the end of the day, these things come up. It happens to every single one of us, and the only way to get out of it is to put our nose to the grindstone and do the work that we know we need to do anyway. The reality is that every single day, for me personally, is a way to build up who I am as a human being, to be ready for those other opportunities that aren't actually all that difficult, that are actually really exciting and encouraging. And on the days that we feel the worst, those days are the most important to stay disciplined. So employees that I've had for a long time at the dental practice actually left recently because of the stress that I was putting on them in terms of their, prowess in their career and their investment into their career. And it was directly based off of some advice that I got from Brandon Dawson's team at Cardone Ventures for building really strong companies. There's a combination of checking in with these people, and there's a combination of also understanding what type of personality type that we as leaders have and how to quell some of the negative parts and how to utilize some of the positive parts. So in that diagram, and hopefully you guys have a chance to check this out, there's a diagram that basically has drivers, influencers, stabilizers, and analyzers. And this diagram really shows what types of leaders exist in society, what type of leaders exist in organizations. And after doing the R3 assessment from the Maxwell group, John Maxwell, phenomenal leader, I realized that I was a driver. And the discrepancy, the shortcomings of a driver, is that sometimes we get really excited about things and we forget that we're dealing with human beings. At the end of the day, the mistake that I made with these long-term employees is that perhaps I pushed them too hard. Perhaps I wasn't emotionally intelligent enough at the time in the window that I had to convey my teachings in a way that's actually nourishing rather than, being paternalistic or being a little callous. And so reflecting through this video and also my drive home and the little time I had afterwards, I realize it's very important for us to leverage human time, but also human personalities and work ethic to get a mutual task accomplished. Now, what happened was, basically about halfway through the day, these employees left. And what that left us with was a team in general that was a little disheveled for about half an hour to 45 minutes, maybe even a little bit longer than that. But we still had a tremendous amount of patience to get through. In fact, today was probably one of our most productive days at the office ever, which is ironic because we had two of our people leave. So what came to mind was, first and foremost, Turab to self. I ain't got work to do. Go do the work. Try to put on a smile. Obviously deal with it in your own way. The way that I do this sometimes is people come up with shit, right? When they come into the dental office, or when they come into a stressful scenario, and they're already going through stuff in life, the beautiful part of it is that if we're going through things, we can sit with them for a second. We can sit with another human being for a second and be like, yeah, dude, life's hard. I get it. And it not only humanizes the patient, it humanizes me. And at the end of the day, how can I help anyone else if I can't humanize myself? So I immediately took a little step back, took a couple of minutes, reflect on it, immediately got back to work, and immediately started to be as kind as possible to my patients while spending some time and energy to listen to their qualms and dwell in the fact that, listen, it's not all about me. It's not all about this predicament, this circumstance. We'll get through it. We have plenty of leads of other employees that are looking for jobs. And frankly, we have plenty of vision to not allow us really to slow down. So when those difficult times come, I think I made a video about this a long time ago too. It's very, very important to realize that in times of peace, the vision that we come up with, the why life is going to be interesting, exciting we come up with, is actually the thing that gets us through those difficult moments. In times of peace, when things aren't difficult, that's when the real work happens. That's when we need to start realizing that if I don't put together my vision, if I don't put together my habits and my discipline, that those times when the boat rocks, or when the storm comes, or when I lose someone, those times are going to be much, much harder. So as an encouraging statement, I'd suggest, listen, like, if now is a peacetime for you, it's time to think, because those hard times are going to come. And the only preparation that you have is your discipline, your habits, and why you wake up in the morning. The quote, the slogan for Turabify is actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Now, the beautiful part about that, in my opinion, is that this world is your world. You watching this video is your perception of the universe. This world is your world. And seeing the world like that allows us to be a steward, to take more personal responsibility for our lives, your life. And it gives other people a chance to latch on to something that's solid, that's consistently going to be there. And at the end of the day, that is the role of a leader, to have that consistency in their personal, professional, and financial life, to allow other people stability to build on. And so I had a rough day, no problem. Got back from work on the machine. Got a Turabify webinar coming up after this. Super excited about it. Had a meeting with my business partner. Shout out to ZDT Entertainment Studios. Zachary Thornton, the CEO. Phenomenal. If you guys are looking for people to upload your content, to come up with a media strategy in general, and to help with creating sales and all of that, pitch, here it is. But yeah, rough times are gonna come, you know? And I think they're kind of important as well. And we only see this most of the time if we haven't had too many rough times in our life. After the fact, if we have a chance to reflect. But I've made it a mission to actually see it right in the moment of when that rough time is happening, to actually be grateful for what that rough time represents, who I have to become, how I have to change, right then and there, to make sure that that doesn't happen again, make it less likely. So what I learned from the experience was, don't be so rough with people. They are human beings. And that your standards in general are not necessarily a bad thing, because one of those individuals probably shouldn't be there anymore. The other one, I made a mistake. And willingness to admit that. Let me take you a step back here. After work, I had a meeting with the entire staff where I admitted that I was at fault for what had occurred. And sure, it's not all my fault, sure, but why not take the responsibility of changing? Why not take the responsibility of being better, being more humble in my approach? I think at the very least, it's a teaching thing for other leaders that I'm trying to bring up in the organization. But secondly, it's just important, right? Like, who the hell wants to be around someone that's like, Something terrible happened. I had nothing to do with that. I wouldn't trust that leader. So I say to you, it is very, very important to have these moments in life. There was a guy, I think I was watching on YouTube or Instagram, he's an Asian dude, sitting on stage, I think at like some Ivy League school, and he was saying, I wish ample amounts of pain and suffering in your life for your growth, for your character. And I can't help but smile after the fact at having had the experience to suffer. At the end of the day, I'm better for it, and hopefully this content finds you well. It's gonna be okay. You're gonna get through it. Just discipline. And think about why it's worth being hopeful in life. Think about why tomorrow might bring new opportunities, new excitement. And I promise you that those waves, those storms, those losses in your life will then feel like it's a part of a larger story, your story. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.